All right, new beekeepers, seasoned beekeepers. We're there. We've reached the end of the year. End of August is the end of the bee year. Since it's a year and not a season, the new year starts the 1st of September. So, the end of the year stuff, you should have your honey off. You are done growing. I've had people ask about doing more splits, and it's a little late for that. You're going to weaken, the colony you split from. You're going to have a weak split colony, both trying to grow and get ready for the winter at the time that they're trying to reduce their number of bees, and the flow is not on. So I believe that it's time to be done trying to grow. And it's the start of the new year, so first start of September, we're in the beginning. The reason that's the beginning is that if you don't do the things that need done sending your bees into winter, you won't have a bee season in the spring because you won't have any bees left. So the health of the bees is what you focus on for September and October. Make sure they're ready to get through the winter, and then we go into more equipment stuff. But that's what you need to do to get your bees ready for winter. So you need to be sure your varroa is down and your disease is under control. You may have a colony that's showing disease even though the varroa are down. They're just more susceptible and they have it. If they're weak and you see a lot of deformed wing virus and stuff in there, it may not be the colony you need to try to get through the winter. These are the evaluations to make now. So you need to be sure they're queen right. It's getting a little late to put a queen in. If you happen to have a mated queen and you've got a good strong colony that just lost their queen, you could requeen it. But I believe it's time to be combining. So if you've got weaker colonies, struggling colonies, you've got one that's weaker and not queen right, combine it to another colony that may not be super strong but could use the extra bees. So now they've got the workforce they need to finish up the fall and brood up. So that's the way to take care of your queen issues at this point, at least where I'm at. Now some of you are in warmer places and better weather and have flow on, and there's other things you can do, but here in the West, that's kind of where we need to be. And you don't want to waste bees trying to take a weak colony into the winter when you could combine it with another colony and have a really strong colony coming out in the spring. So we all want to see the underdog make it, but bees typically doesn't work. So the other thing that you can still do is some balancing. If you've got a strong colony that has 6 frames of capped brood and you've got a colony that's been kicking along but just not had enough bees to really get with it yet, you can give them a frame of capped brood. Now there'll be more workforce in there to help her lay more. As we're starting to cool down in the evenings and the days are getting shorter, more bees need to be in the colony to keep it warm enough to keep the brood going, or the queen will have to slow down her laying. So you can add some brood, and don't add brood to a colony that's been struggling all summer and it's just barely making it. That's just not a good colony, and you're going to waste your resources, whether it's adding brood to that colony or whether you're adding capped honey to it because it didn't put up enough on its own. You're just wasting resources. The queen hasn't got it together. She just wasn't a good queen. It's nobody's fault. It might be time to take her out and combine those bees with another colony that has a queen that's doing better. Some bee lines just don't do well. I've had some that were pretty strong, but they could not figure out capping honey. They had open nectar in almost every frame in the hive, but nothing was capped. Well, that's not going to do well in the winter. So anyway, those are just things to watch. Do the balancing. You can balance your feed when we get in late too, but again, make sure you're not balancing with a colony that doesn't deserve to make it through the winter. That's not going to be your best stock. We use the winter to take out the weak, and you need to try to do that ahead of time where you can. So then you're going to want to evaluate your feed levels as we get towards the middle and end of September and see which ones have got enough up and which ones haven't. I'm feeding right now 1-to-1 syrup. I'm trying to simulate a flow. I need them to keep brooding up as much as they can, and I'm trying to get them to draw comb. They'll have a better chance of doing that on a 1-to-1 flow. And we're dry enough and warm enough still that they can be drawing that fine. As we get into the end of September and October around here, we get a lot more damp. We don't have, longer dry days. And at that point, it's a matter of getting syrup on them quickly to get them up to weight. They need enough pounds of capped honey or syrup to get through the winter. So if you feed it at a higher concentrate of 2-to-1, you've got a better chance of them getting it cured in time to make it through. So there's some things to be thinking about for the end of the year, beginning of the new year. I hope all your bees have done well through the summer, and evaluate them. See if we can get the strong ones to make it through to next spring, because those will be your rock stars. And the stronger they come through, the more you can split next year, if you're still wanting to grow. So anyhow, we'll see if we can get this one on.